Alright guys, I'm going to continue my test flying of the Zibo Mod to the 737-800. This is the 3.24 Echo mod that came out about a week ago or so. And I know they've already put out a Foxtrot and a Golf, so 2 more mods at least as of yesterday. Seem to be like pushing one out every other day or so. But I'm actually jumping from 3.21 something into this 3.24 Echo. So quite a few changes, but I'm getting used to it. I've already done a couple of test flights. If you look back on my channel, you'll see a little bit of those, but I've got the sort of inner workings of the FMC, some of the differences in there I think worked out. So I thought I'd do another test flight on my favorite route, San Diego to Phoenix. It's a short flight and good shakedown for the new 737 here. So let's jump inside and get her fired up. I've got some details up here, so I've got my frame rate. I'm keeping an eye on that just to see how things are going. I did delete my preferences the other day because my frame rates were just crapola. I was lucky if I was getting like 15 coming into Phoenix or San Diego, which was driving me bananas because I didn't know what the heck. I kept changing my settings and stuff, but I did manage to sort of change my settings a little bit. I'll show you what they are here. So here's what I'm running. Running on high, texture quality high. Bumped my anti-alias down a little bit. I noticed that does quite a bit on my frame rate. So I'm hoping, at least on my last test flight that I did, I actually had like upwards of 30, 32, 33. Something like that. I just bumped down my world objects here for the first time to see what happens. And all right, let's get in there and take a look. So I've got my frame rates here, and I just got my weather right there. We'll keep an eye on that too. I am using real world weather, and we're pretty much on real time here in San Diego. And I thought I would do. Usually, what I do is I go up to my panel view here to get everything started, but I want to kind of get used to it doing it from the pilot's point of view here. So we're gonna do one of those. Let's see here. All right, I'll get everything turned on. Get our power on. Standby power. Emergency exit. I am going to use my keyboard for a couple of things. Like I've got some of the lights and switches and stuff mapped to keyboard commands. So smoking sign on, seatbelt sign on. Let's go over to ground power. Oop, wrong way. Alright. Go to ground power, and I think we're ready to fire up our APU. Put on a fuel pump. I do have a key for this too. Alright, waiting for a light to come on. Right there. The back of that switch. Alright, so APU is firing up. Let's go ahead and put our nav lights on. We'll put our beacon on too. Alright, and we can get our IRSs aligned. And I'm gonna turn the volume on the sim part up here on my recording so you could hear all the different clicks and whistles and everything else. You can kind of hear the APU starting up in the background. Very nice. This does include the new F-Mod sounds from, I think, is it Audio Bird, for the Echo version here. Alright, let me get rid of my yoke here for a second because I like to have my lights turned up. Especially for the sim here, or for the recording. It tends to give a little bit more detail during the recording. Alright, we'll turn up the other side here. And let me jump up here. I will turn it up on my top panel also. And my bottom panel. Let's see what's next. Alright, let's get our IRS aligned here. Clear that out. Go into FMC. I have checked the some of the other settings in here. Let me go ahead and just show you those. So if you go into extras here, you've got the F mod settings, so you can change around some of the volumes and stuff like that, features. I've kind of changed mine's a little bit, but haven't really played around with them. I think everything's good. Or at least the way I like it. So let's position it. We are at San Diego, SAN. We are at the GA parking on the, well, let's see, let me think about this, the southeast side of the airport. So no gate. We'll grab our GPS position, plop that in there. And let's do our route. We'll see what we get here for a route. I do have sim brief up, and I've got the standard route up, so we're going to punch that in for KPHX. Where's X? Alright. Performance. Now let's take a look at our fuel. We're kind of high there. Let me change my fuel settings. Alright, we don't need all that fuel. We only need, let's see, total fuel 15. Total fuel, I want it right around 10. Alright, that's good. Apply that. Alright, that looks better. And usually we use maybe about 3,000 pounds. At least that's what I've noticed, so. Alright, we'll hit our weight here. Planned fuel 99. It's not really that one. We're not using that much. Reserves. Reserves are really going to be about 6, I'm guessing. We'll see how it works out. Cost index, I haven't played around with that on this version. I think it does do a little bit. What did I click? I clicked something. Let's get back in there. Position, route, performance. Okay, cost index 125. Click that. I might have clicked index by accident. Let's see, we'll go up to 2,900 for this flight. Now here, I noticed one of the differences in this version that I noticed is you do have to put in some temperatures in order to make sure that your VNAV and LNAV are enabled. And I think, I should probably just look this up, but I think you got to put in a temperature over here for your VNAV. Don't quote me on that. I think that's what it is. Now we're using real world weather, and I think I'm just going to eyeball this. Let me see. I think if you do that, that's the Fahrenheit temp. 10, sure. All right, we'll go with that. What is it right now? It's do I have a temperature? It's 14°C here. Might go a little bit higher. Let me see. Let's go 47. So let me see. Top of climb. No, we need it lower than that. So let's do 20. -7. I think it's about probably -14. So let's play around with this a little bit. 10, 8. Alright, that's better. 82. That's about what it is in San Diego. I don't know. We'll see if that works. I'm not sure. I'm going to hit execute. Let's go over to our limits here. Click that, and it punches in the current temp. We're not going to derate or anything like that. We'll go to takeoff flaps or 5. CG. Punch that in. Let's get 4.4. 4.5 on the trim. All right, we'll do our weight, or not our weight, I'm sorry, our speed references here. So 134, come up here and just put 134 in there. Alright, now then, departure. I noticed the runway doesn't work, so if I say we're taking off 27, it doesn't do anything. Alright, we'll go departure. We are taking 27, and we're going to be doing the Pokey 5 Imperial transition. That takes us along the Mexican border. It's a nice departure out of San Diego here. Wait till you get in the air. You'll love this, especially on a nice clear day like this. And if the weather's not clear outside, I'll make sure it's clear. All right, route, activate. And I've only been playing around with this, like I said, a couple times. So if I screw something up, don't hate on me. But arriving into Phoenix, we're gonna land 25 left. 25 left. We're going to do the ILS. 25 left. What do we got here? Routing. I'm looking for high. Yeah, it's not giving me. Oh no, wait a minute. Hold on. More pages. Here we go. Hydra 1. We don't want the Blythe transition. I want Hope. I think that's what it is. Yeah. Hokies. And we're not doing that. I don't have that on my sim brief. So let's just execute that. We'll take a look, see what it looks like. Let's see if we got any discontinuities here. So Jetty, Pokey. Jeddah. Brown. Yeah, Brown, Imperial. Got a discontinuity there. I think between Hokies and I'm gonna see if I can stick something in there. Let's see how we got a vector here. We'll see how this works out. Alright, so between Imperial. Alright, so that works. So we're going to Imperial, and then the next thing I gotta stick in here is BZA. I believe that's a VOR. I don't remember which one it is though. BZA. Let's see if it takes that. We're going to take it as a waypoint. Alright, we'll execute that. Alright, let's take a look at the route. Zoom out a little bit here. Go to plan. And let's step through it here. Okay, so we take off, we climb to 8,000. And it's the center point here that we're kind of stepping through. So now we're at Loma. Go to Poggy. Browse. Nope, see, already something hokey here. And then Imperial. Right. Then BZA. That don't look right. Let's delete that one. Let's just go direct, I guess. Do that. There we go. Alright, let's start this again. Alright, so we're at the runway, Jeddah, or Jetty. Oop. Got that step. Okay, Jetty, Loma, Hoagie, Browse, Imperial, Hoax, Judith, Rick Dam, Hydra, Gila, Agla, and then we go, let's zoom in here a little bit. Get a better view of that. Okay, so we're at Chavo to Limo to a vector to guess B. So I'm guessing this is our vector. Let's get rid of the vector. I hate these things. Execute that. Let's see what that looks like. There we go. That is vectoring way the heck out there. Okay, so we go from here to guess B, or Gipsy, to Skade, to what are we? To the runway. Okay, and then we've got our mist here, following that to 3,000 feet. Then we go over to an intersection, and we go to the Pogey, and we hold. Alright, I think that looks good. So let's get back up here. Zoom out a little bit. Alrighty. I think we're set there. We'll see how it works out. Alright, we'll reset that. ILS frequencies. Let's take a look. I'm going to set my ILS 25 left while I'm at it here. Taking a look at my other screen. And zooming in on Phoenix. And ILS 25 left. Let's see, frequency is 127. I know that's the ATIS. Where's the frequency? Or what am I looking at? Wrong one. I'm looking at the RNAV. No wonder there's no frequency. ILS 25 left. There we go. Thought that looked a little different. There we go. Alright. 110.75. So let's come down here. We're going to go 110.75. We'll put that as the primary in VOR1, right? 110.75. Phoenix VOR is 115.6. I already got that in there from my prior test flight in NAV2, so that's good. And let's see, final approach course is going to be 258. So let me come up here. I'm going to do this with my keyboard here. It's faster. 258 is the final approach course. We'll do that. Let me see here. What do I want to do? For VOR2, that's just kind of interesting. I'm just looking at the instrument approach. So it's got we've got a little bit. We've got another VOR, Wiley, 113.3. That defines our intersection or our initial approach fix, or helps us to. I might as well put that in there. 113.3. Let me go down here. Go to VOR2. Let's put in 113.3. Alright. And make that one active for right now. Let's see, what else do I want to do? I've got our final approach course here. This is going to be, well, we're going to go to it first if we kind of get off of our flight plan. But the radio from it is 006. I'm going to set that as a reference there. All right, I think we're ready. We're ready to get stuff going here. So let's turn on our left-right flight director. We'll turn on our right one also. I noticed that the right one here still says still in progress, but it does work. It does duplicate at least what I see on here for the most part. Like the keys work. See, so we could put legs in there, or we could put our climb here. Alrighty, I think we're ready to start up, so we're not going to be doing any pushback, because like I said, we're at the southeast side here. What's our weather here? What do we got? Altimeter 3021. Let's go ahead and put that in there. And I do have it set through the menu to duplicate that over here. See, which is nice. I don't have to keep jumping around. Alright, 3021 is set. Alright, we got our beacon on. I think we're ready to go over to GPU power, or APU power. We'll go ahead and turn on all our fuel tanks. Alright, we'll leave yaw dampener off for right now. Come back up here. I'm kind of scanning top to bottom. I guess we can go to APU gen on that now. Cabin utilities, we'll put all that stuff on. Here's some extra sounds going off. Alrighty, all that is set. Come back up here, kind of scanning down. I got our panel lights up. Smoking sign and seat belts are on. Alright, let's put on our lost the sound there for a second. Maybe a little hiccup there with the switch. It happened to me the other day too. Not sure why, and I think it was right about when I was clicking the window heat. Alright, we're not going to need any icing. We'll put our electrical hydraulics on. Down here, don't need to mess with that yet. And over here we're going to go set our altitude for, what was it, 29,000? Kind of a weird little view right there. And then our landing altitude at Phoenix is 1150. Alright, we're ready to start up, so let's go ahead. We didn't have the pack on, we'll put the APU bleed on. There, you can probably hear the AC going off. Alright, we're going to turn off pack. I'm still learning, like I said, I'm just doing this from the pilot's point of view here, so I gotta know exactly where to click. Right, so right there, we'll turn that off, and we'll start up engine number 2. And I know it's really loud right now, and I will turn it down, but just for the sake of hearing the sounds here at startup. Hopefully it's not too loud, I don't know. OBS sometimes does some weird things with the sound volume. There's that little drop off in sound once the engine actually gets started. Alright, so we get a good start on number 2. Let's go up and start number 1. And like I mentioned in my other video, I did notice a difference between the other version I was using, the quite a bit older one, that starting up both of them at once will affect your spool up here. You know, so it's taking into account the bleed energy coming from the, you know, I guess APU or whatever. And it doesn't quite spool up the engine as fast if you do them both at the same time. Alright, looks like we got a good start on number 1. We'll go over here to our transponder and just put that on TARA. Alright, and so now that we're started up, let's go to engine power. Put our bleeds on for engine, off for APU, put our packs back on. Alright, so we can put our yaw dampener on now. Alright, I think we're all set up here. Ready to taxi. And we'll arm our auto throttle here. And again, I'm gonna turn down the volume just a tad here. We'll see how it comes out on the recording. It seems like my OBS was consistently low on the volume. I'll tell you what, I'll leave it up right now until after takeoff, just so you can hear all the nice engine noise and everything. Alright, so before we taxi, since we're right at the end of the runway right here, we'll go ahead and put our auto braking to RTO, get our flaps down. So you can hear that whining of the flaps coming down. And again, I know it's loud out there, I hope. Alright, we're gonna do, we'll do our taxi light on, and again I have keys for this, so you can see my taxi light just came on. Since we're right at the end of the runway, I'm gonna go ahead and put our strobes on, we'll put our logo on. Beacon's already on, and I think we're ready to taxi. So parking brake off. I think APU off. If I haven't already done it, I just hit the key for that. And the engine sounds are real nice here. Alright, so we're going to take the runway here, 27 at San Diego, and we're going to do a straight out climb out, then a left turn, and the weather looks nice. Take a look out here. Oh yeah, nice clear day. You're going to get a real nice view of San Diego departing out of here. Alright, so let's, I'm going to hit my wing lights. That should...
Approaching 27.
That should give us the announcement for departure. And my frames are hanging out at about 20, so that's pretty decent down here on the ground. I'm hoping to hit 30 once we get up in the air, though. If I don't, I might have to delete my preferences again and kind of
on runway 27
go from scratch. Alright, get lined up on the runway here. Let's I'm going to go ahead and click LNAV and VNAV. Let me see. I see VNAV is now activated, which is nice. The autopilot is still off. Oh, we didn't set our altitude, you know. Let me go ahead and brake here. I knew I was forgetting something, so yes, quit jumping around. We're going up to 29,000, so I'm just going to set that right away. No holds or anything like that. Alright, landing lights can go on. We'll keep our autopilot off for now, but I'm going to hit N2, and we should be on our way here, or sorry, N1 button. Alright, let me get my view set up here. Alright, get our brake off. I'm going to power up to, well, I don't know, somewhere around 60. Let it stabilize here. Hit N1, and we're on our way. Rotating. Gear up. 400 feet, I'm going to go ahead and hit the autopilot. Okay. Flaps up. Okay, so autopilot is on. We'll see how it handles the departure out of here. Get our flaps all the way up. Alright, so I'm guessing that was pretty loud. So I'm going to turn down the volume here a little bit on the sim through my OBS. So I can stop yelling into the mic. There we go. I'm also turning it down in my headset so I can actually hear myself talking. Alright, so gear is up. Let's go to off position. I have that mapped to a key. And our flaps came up. And you can see it's doing a right turn here, which is a little weird. It's supposed to be doing a left turn. Not sure what it's doing. It's supposed to do a left turn. That's a little weird. Might have been the departure. Let's take a look at this. Legs. Jetta. Is it? It's making a right turn all the way around, maybe. I'm gonna let it do its thing. It's trying to hold 230, it looks like. Well, so much for my nice departure out of San Diego. Though it does still look nice, although we're kind of going around the wrong way. I'm gonna see what it does. Yeah, see, it looks like it's doing it like a 360 to come back around here. One of the other departures I had, I think it was like it wasn't the one that I picked. I had done one of the other ones, which was a little bit more straightforward. It actually did what it's supposed to do. It took a left turn there. Well, we should still have the view at least. It's a little hazy out here, you know. I'm gonna change that because I really want to see the scenery here on this flight. So let me nope, wrong one. Let me change the weather. Yeah. All right, we're gonna go to just Cirrus. There we go. As our plane bounces around a little bit. Yeah, it's a little weird departure there. I'm not sure why it decided to do a 360 there. Maybe the angle on it is different, or I don't think I did. I don't think I changed anything on the departure part. Anyway, wing lights can come off, and let's see here. Strobes are on. Logo light can come off. And we don't even have a logo on the tail. Well, you get at least a scenic view here of San Diego as we kind of do a 360. I wonder if it's the altitude. I wonder if it had a crossing at or below 8,000. So, you know, it didn't have like a minimum altitude. It really should just, the last time I did this, what it did was it did a left turn, and obviously it overshoots here, but it kind of comes around anyway, and just picked up the course, so. And again, that's what flight testing is about. Alright, let's go taxi light off while we're doing our little 360 here around San Diego. Let's see if it picks this up now. This would be really weird if it just kept doing 360s. like when it gets to jetty, it should turn left. If it doesn't, we'll do some manual correction here. And in anticipation of that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change our. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I'm going to change our heading over to something like that, because that's what we're going to have to turn here. We're doing donuts over Mission Bay here. Let me zoom in and see what it does. So it should reach that waypoint and do a turn to the left. Let's see. Nope. It's just going to sit here doing 360s. Alright, let's go to heading select. We will have to intervene here. Alright, I'm going to take a look at this view because I don't have my X camera on it, so I can make some changes here. And zoom out, and we're roughly on the right course right there with our heading select. Kind of come back around a little bit. And hopefully we should pick up Loma. So this is kind of what it would normally be doing. Kind of take off, do a left turn right around here, and then sort of swing back around out back towards the south side of the bay, and away we go. We'll keep adjusting my heading here so we can head right for Loma. You know what I'm going to do? The one thing I didn't do last time is I set that to 30. Not sure if that would make a difference. We're gonna bypass Jeddah altogether, or Jetty, which I believe, right? Because we take off here. Not sure where Jetty is. Someplace, I don't know. We're heading right for Loma. Let's see if we pick that up. I wonder if I can change it on here. If I just go Loma to there, execute. All right, get rid of Jetty altogether there, and then let's hit LNAV. Got LNAV, okay. I got our N1, which is weird. Maybe we gotta recycle that too. So what I'm looking for is N1 to come off. N1 should come off, and should just be going by our VNAV.
Trail safety, we recommend that you keep your seatbelt loosely fastened in case of any unexpected turbulence. We have an excellent team on board today, and we are all happy to offer you any assistance you may require throughout the flight. Our in-flight entertainment has begun.
Alright, so it looks like it is picking up our route, which is good. And like I said, here's a nice, real nice view of San Diego departing out of here. Let's take a look around a little bit. We would be lower if we flew the actual departure. And so I'm going to look down here. So here's Point Loma, right there, and here's North Island and Coronado. Lindbergh Field, obviously, right here. Mission Bay in the background. Pacific Beach, Mission Beach, La Jolla right there where the cursor is. And here's Montgomery Field right there. And, or sorry, Montgomery Field is right there, and that's Miramar, Top Gun. Flying out over the bay here. We got the Coronado Yacht Club right here. We've got a friend who has a boat down there, went sailing a couple times. And I go paddle boarding right over here, next to the Coronado Bridge, among other places. Alright, let's pop back inside. Hopefully it's not too loud. Still on N1 though, which is interesting. I wonder if I take that off. Okay, maybe it's just acting a little different. It's fine with me. Alright, we'll go to standard on our altimeter setting. So we're at holding at 275, which is correct. Here's our target airspeed is 275 for our climb, so we'll look at that over here, 275. Should be doing a turn here shortly. Let's zoom out a little bit. Let's put on our airports, and I like to have my VORs and stuff on too, just for reference. And I think we're finally on our way. Coming through a little scattered deck here at whatever altitude we're at. What are we at now? 22,000. We're almost at our top of climb here. Since we don't have any weather, I'm not going to put weather on. I guess we could. Not going to see anything. I don't know if it's standard operating procedure to have that on. Or, I mean, obviously the captain has the option, or pilots have the option, but not sure what the proper procedure is. Alright, and let's see, our landing lights can go off. Let's take a look at our other lights here. So logo is off. We got our strobes on, beacon on, wing light is off, and I don't think I've ever used the wheel well light. Pressurization looks good. Go ahead and turn the seatbelt sign off. And let's see, engines are maxed out. I don't think they did that, maybe because I didn't derate it or anything like that. But what's our actual temperature here? Minus 18. I can't remember what I actually set. Was it cruise? Anyway. Well, anyway, we are at what, 1947, arrival 2033, so about 45 minutes or so we should be on the ground. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and go grab a bottle of water. In the meantime, I'll let you watch the climb out here, or our cruise, now that we're at cruise. We should start powering back. Let's see, yeah, we're 29. Almost up to our cruise speed here. I think it's safe enough to let me step away for a second, grab a bottle of water. I'll leave this view on. Matter of fact, let me see if I can change it around a little bit. Nah, it's fine. I'll leave it right there for you guys, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back in the cockpit. Got my water. I am noticing though that my frame rate isn't going above 20, even on the wing view here. Let's take a look at some of the other ones. 20. Like I said, I was getting it up to like 33 through this area. Got to play around with the settings a little bit more. I didn't really change anything though. Let me see what I got here. Water reflections are on. Let me turn that off. That might bump it up a little bit. No, not really. Shadows. Oops, I didn't really change any of that. Didn't change any of that. Texture quality, ambient occlusion usually slows it down. Actually, yeah, there you go. You can see it bump down to 16 or so. Usually keep that off. This is all pretty much default. I'm not going to apply it right now because it'll just reload the scenery, but I'll leave that off. Maybe play around with my settings here. Let me take a look, just for the heck of it. I had this down. I know if I bump this up, that really takes a hit, which is really weird because nothing changed in the sim here. It's weird how that X-Plane does that. All the other settings here are pretty much exactly what I had before. Alright. Well, we'll leave it at 20. It's good enough. You still get pretty smooth views. I was really hoping for that 30 again. We're getting 25 or so. I wonder if, let me take a look at out here. That's still only 23. I'll tell you what, next video I post after this one will probably be another flight test of the Zibo, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'll do a video of how to delete that. We know where it is. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It does reset some of your stuff, but I'll include that in the next video, and we'll do a little test here and see how that does with the frame rate. Anyway, let's take a look at the plane outside. Let me go ahead and turn that down a little bit. So this is the factory new livery. Figure it'd be appropriate to use this livery for the flight tests. Thanks to whoever made it out on the xplane.org. So we're making a little course adjustment there. Yeah, we're just about over Imperial, so let me take a little look around here. Oh, Holtzville. One of my favorite little spots. I mention this every time I fly by it and notice it. When I was working on my private pilot's license, I was living in San Diego. And my final long cross country that I did in Cessna 152 was from San Diego, 29 Palms, Blythe, over to Yuma over here, and then I was taking off from Yuma heading back for San Diego when I had some engine trouble, and I was pretty much right where we are now at about like 7,000 or 8,000 feet in a 152 putzing along. So I did a little descending corkscrew and landed on this runway right here. Now this is an old World War II training base. It's pretty much deserted now. Back when I landed on it, the runways were horrible with like 3 foot tall, 5 foot tall weeds and stuff growing out of them, and potholes, it was being used, part of it was being used as a sort of racetrack. Guys would come out on the weekend, you know, with their whatever cars and stuff and just use it as a racetrack. But I managed to land there and make a long story short, had another guy fly out a plane from the Aero Club, and I took that one back to San Diego. So we got Imperial back behind us here. The Salton Sea. And we got the Yuma sand dunes down below us here. Another little note of trivia here, and you can see these sand dunes all down below us. This is where the Tatooine scenes for Return of the Jedi were filmed. This is where they take you know, Luke and Leia and Han. Well, not Han. Well, yeah, Han was there too. Yeah, Han and yeah, take them out on Jabba's little whatever sail barge and throw Luke, or attempt to throw them into the, what is it, the Sarlacc or whatever. Anyway, this is where it was filmed, and you can actually, if you're coming down the 8 here, you can stop over here, and a lot of dune buggies, riding, and all that stuff happens out here. But it's just really neat to see. So this is, you're actually looking into Mexico. That's Mexico. The border, kind of right there. That is the border. And then it sort of jogs around over here a little bit someplace. I think it goes down to here, and then that's the border over there with Mexico. And right there is Yuma International Airport. Like I said, on that one cross country, I landed over here. And we've got the Colorado River here. So this is Arizona. This is a little military base right here. Everything out here is restricted airspace for the military. They do live fire stuff all out here. Alright, let's get back in the plane here, and let's see what's going on. I'll turn the volume up a little bit more here. Hopefully not too loud. So it looks like we go to Judith, and then we head on out towards Gila Bend. Nice view of the Colorado River here. I did a video, I think it went live just the other day, where I took a 172 and I was flying. Well, I was trying to fly from Blythe along the river here just to kind of highlight some of the scenery, nice and low. And I was heading into San Diego, but the sim crashed. But if you take a look at the channel, you'll see that video. It's, you know, so I just posted everything from taking off. It basically got all the scenery that I wanted to show, which was all of the Colorado River here. And so let's do this. I'll show you something here with the rendering. Let me see. I'm going to change my X camera here on this view to retain my mouse look. Alright, so see if you can see the water right here. You got a lot of reflections and stuff. Let me bring up my rendering options and my water, and you'll watch the water over here once I change this. It looks okay right now, but There we go. Look at that. Looks nice. Put a little wave action in there. Much nicer looking. With it off. See, it's kind of overflowing to banks here and there. It doesn't really fit. Much nicer, and it doesn't take a very big frame rate hit. You know, we're still at 20. Turn it off. You know, maybe a couple of frames there. There's 22, 21. Still at 22. Not bad. I'll leave it on for now. Alright, let me set my view back up here. Something like that. Where do I want to go? Next camera, toggle. I'm gonna save it right there and take that off. Alright. Back in the cockpit here. Usually the retained mouse look I only use for the inside the cockpit here. Oh, look at that now, our frame rate's going to crapola. Maybe I should keep the water off. I'll have to do a test to see if the frame rate is affected by OBS recording also. Yeah, it does make a difference there, at least inside the cockpit it looks like. Back up to 23. Ooh, what we got there? Matter of breakup. This little light right here. Let me do it. There you go. I use the slider on my joystick to actuate the spoilers. And unfortunately sometimes I bump it ever so slightly. And you can see my ortho here. I've got two different zoom levels, and I think this zoom level actually looks nicer, at least shadow wise. They both look nice, but sometimes the shadows aren't perfect. Oop, what did I do? I screwed something up here. It's not keeping my... Oh, never mind. I was on the wrong view. Let's watch our turn here. Alright, so let's go ahead and get ready for the approach here, since we're getting pretty close to it. So we got our... Let's take a look at our radios here. So we have our ILS to 2.5 left set, and I think I screwed around with this. Now it's still set. Course is set for 258, which is the final approach course into 2.5. I am not sure. I should probably rename that runway 26. But I think they already have 26s, so they'd have to do like a, 26 left, center, whatever. That's probably why they did the 2.5. Call it 2.5, even though it's 2.58. I digress. Okay, so we had our VOR set in here. This is... Sorry, the 15.6 is Phoenix. 13.3 is whatever that other. There's another VOR in there that we're gonna kind of head for. Well, let's see here. So we actually turn before we get to Gila Bend. My mouse is all screwy here. Looks like we're already starting our descent. Yes. Oh, we did. We hit our top of descent, and I haven't changed my altitude. See, I knew I was going to screw something up. Let me drop my altitude down here, and we're gonna go down to 3,000. What the heck? we'll set it for 4,000 for right now. So should start, should capture our descent right here. So anyway, let's see. What was I talking about? Reset MCP altitude. I think I already did that because I think we're good. Yeah, that was from when we were screwing around just out of San Diego, I think. Yeah, so it is taking us down, and we kind of fly out this way. We're going to come around and land. Reset that. Not paying attention. My fault. Let's take a look at our legs here. So yeah, 22,000, 19, 17, 14, 9. Then we go 733 and onto the runway. So I'm going to set 3,000. And by then we should be picking up the ILS over here. Let me take a look at my other screen. Let's see, what do we intercept our... Yeah, well, 4,000 is the intercept at the initial approach fix, which is... What's that intersection? That's... My eyesight's bad. Hammock or Gipsy. What do we got here? We go to Gipsy. It says 3,000 here. Well, 3,000 at or above 3,000. So 4,000 is where we actually intercept it. So you know what? I'm going to set this. I'm going to keep this at 4,000 because that's what it's got on the approach chart. So at Gipsy, we are at 9.3 miles out. We should be at 4,000 feet. And Skade is where we are at 3,000 feet. So Skade at 3,000. But again, we should be on the actual ILS by then, or on the approach portion of it, or the descent. Sorry. Willie. Yeah, Willie is the VOR there. 113.3 that we've got set in VOR 2 right now. That's right, yeah, and so 6 degrees off of Willie defines which intersection. Fixar, which I don't know if we have in here now. Fixar is the one right before Gipsy. But again, we're not going all the way out that far. We're actually going to intercept here, it looks like. Unless, whatever's that, Lemon? Or Limo? Limo is not on the approach plate. So I'm guessing it's a little bit farther out, or... I guess I should look at the approach. Let me see. I'll do that. I'll look at the actual star. So let's see here. Departures, arrivals. What are we doing? I forgot what we were doing. Eagle, Desert, High Door. That's the one. I don't know if you can hear my dog barking in the background. There's another dog walking by. Alright, let's see. High Door. Yeah, so we're on the High Door coming up to Judith. Where's the airport? It's kind of a weird approach. That's probably why I had that vector in there for us too. Alright, I don't think I'm going to need my Internet Explorer open. I'm going to kill that just to see if it does anything with our frame rates. It's weird how sometimes the weirdest things you've got running in the background will affect the frame rate. Okay, so we are making our descent. We never put our strobes off, which you normally do when you're at cruise. Apparently they only have them on when you're climbing out or descending. And so Phoenix is kind of off in the haze over here. And you can see our route here. So we go to high door, come back in here, and then we're kind of doing, remember we chopped off that one little weird vector. So we go to here, and then we go right there and then back down to the airport. And then we got our hold here. Matter of fact, just for clarity here, I'm going to delete the hold. Just to get it off of the map here. Delete that, delete that, delete that, and delete that. There we go. I should clean this up. There we go, a little bit. Yeah, so we got kind of a pretty steep angle right here. What I think we'll do is we'll come over here, and then and we'll kind of do our own little vector around this way. So we're making our turns here. So you can see there was our VOR that kind of lit up green right there. That's our secondary VOR, Wiley. And that kind of shoots out this way and defines our farthest most initial approach fix. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to fly a little bit farther out manually once we get to whatever that intersection is right there. Looks like Limo. Come back out and do a nice controlled turn there instead of that little jog. We'll go to our altimeter setting here, and it looks like, because I reset the weather, so it's just going to be 2992. I'll start zooming in here a little bit. Somebody's calling for the stewardess, asking if the pilot knows what the hell he's doing. Of course, this is a test flight, so it's all like flight test engineers in the back, so we don't have to worry about them. I guess we'll put the seatbelt sign on anyway. Yeah, so it looks like we're gonna fly. We're gonna fly right over this. Coming into Phoenix, if you're landing heading eastbound, so like 08 or one of those runways, you actually kind of jog around, come right through here, and descend down into Phoenix. If I got my bearings right here. Using reserve fuel, really. Let's see, we got plenty of fuel. What do we got here? 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6,200-ish plus. So here's our VOR2, 56 miles out of Wiley, which I think we're going to head to and then make our turn. And we're doing 2.5 left for the approach. Go ahead and set our auto braking at 2. I think I did one RNAV approach in this version of the Zibo, and it didn't work out too well for some reason. But again, I was still kind of getting used to the FMC and some of the more detailed stuff that was included in this version. You know, where you got to put in the temperatures and all that stuff to get everything working right, and I'm still learning that. Which is why I kind of selected the ILS anyway. I just wanted to try to have one smooth approach without too much fussing. I could see the airport up ahead of us. There it is right there. So there's downtown Phoenix, there's the runways. We're going to be landing on this side right here. So it looks like we're going to scoot around here, do a UE, come back around on the ILS. And we got, is that Luke? I think that's Luke Air Force Base. Yeah, that is a little bit of a jog. You'd think they'd have at least another waypoint out there instead of just having a vector. We'll see how this works out since we're going to kind of go off of flight plan here. We'll descend down to 4,000 at, what was it, Limo? Where they got 7,000 at Limo, 4,000 beyond that. So we'll keep on going past Limo at 4,000 and make our turn around to Gipsy. I don't have the approach plate up again, so I don't know what the actual altitude is that you do that turn on, but I know it's there's nothing out here for us to worry about terrain-wise. Let's see, I'm going to turn our weather off. We don't need it. And I'm trying different things here just to see what would impact some of the frame rates. We can turn our stations off. You know, a lot of this stuff, doing stuff on here really probably doesn't do too much. And we'll keep an eye on this to see if it gives us any speed warnings for, you know, drag required. Take a look outside here at some of this nice ortho. I think I'm going to do a flight next time from Phoenix to Tucson. I haven't been down to Tucson yet. And I'm not sure if I've got, I think I even did ortho all the way down, I'm not sure. I'll do ortho all the way down to Tucson and do a quick test flight down there. And you can see our water here. Again, it's not a big deal, but it does help. See, watch this water right here. Much more realistic, but you know, we're taking like a 5 frame hit roughly for it. Well, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3. Adding waves here I don't think is going to help it. When you're off like out of San Diego and you're looking at like Mission Bay or the ocean or something like that, having the waves on does help it with the sort of immersion realism of it. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it off for now here. We're test flying the plane, not the scenery today. Alrighty, so I think over here, what do we got for airspeeds? 110 at what is that? Chavo. We'll start putting in some flaps at Chavo here then. Yeah, I think I'm going to head to Phoenix. I actually live in San Diego, or just north of San Diego, so I think I'm gonna do a trip out to Phoenix in a little bit. Alright, meandering here. Okay, so we should have maybe a drag required message coming up. We'll see. Getting us down to 210 knots here. Coming over, is it called Camelback Mountain, I believe? So winds are calm. We could take any runway, but we'll go with what's planned here on 25 left. All right, so we'll put our landing lights on. We'll put our logo on. Not that it makes a difference. Wing lights, sure, put that on too. And I'm doing that all with keys. So over here. Alright, so it looks like we are at our intersection there, so I'm gonna go 2 notches of flaps. That does drop us down to what, 170-ish? I guess I should have kept those up for a little bit. Let's get our heading. Let's get our heading set up here, because we're going to use heading instead of going to that waypoint, right? So I'm going to go ahead to heading right now, because we're going to go past this, whatever it is, limo. Keep it right there. And why are we not picking up? Oh, there it is. Yeah, we're zoomed out too far. So there's our intersection. If you drew a line straight out here, that's the initial approach fix, is where that green line intercepts. So we're going to use that as a reference. We probably won't go out that far. We'll go out to just before it turn in. And there's our drag required. Get rid of that. Pretty much beam the runway there. We could go visual right now, but like I said, I want to try this ILS just to see how it works out. This is, like I said, test flight, so we're testing the systems within the plane, getting a handle on how they function. So it looks like it's going to try to hold us. There we go. Now we switched over to approach. Now I have LNAV off. We're on heading hold. Gives us our references here. Flaps 135 at 30, 128, 121 at 40. We're gonna come in at 30 30 flaps, 128. So we'll keep a. We'll just note that 128 will be our speed while we're at 30 flaps. Let me zoom in here a little bit. So we're still on VNAV, so that's controlling our altitude down to 4,000. Should level us out at 4,000. I think once we hit that, we'll do our churn back inbound. And like I said, up ahead of us, there's no real terrain we have to worry about. All nice and flat out here. Almost looks like it's holding us here. It's not really descending us very fast. I wonder if it's... I don't know what it's doing. Well, we do have our DME off of the ILS now, so we're just coming up to 11 past it. And I think what I'm going to do here, let's do vertical speed. That switches us over to also our indicated speed hold here. We'll make that even. Vertical speed, we're going to go down a little bit. Let's get down to 4,000 here. I don't want to be flying out too far. Might use a little bit of drag here just to keep our speed in check. And I think I said landing lights on. Yep, we're on. Not gonna mess with the. I know we kind of switched over the starters to, you know, continuous and all that. But that works fine. And there's our glide slope. So we could technically do our churn anytime now and still kind of capture our glide slope. But I want to get down to 4,000 here before we do that. And I'm going to use my keys on my joystick to do our turn. Alright, got about 500 feet to go here, so I'm going to drop our spoilers down. Let's go ahead and start turning here. We got plenty of room. And when we get inbound, I'm going to go ahead and hit approach. And we'll see how this ILS works. Kind of eyeballing it here, just doing a 90-degree churn. Come inbound a little bit farther. Yeah, well, I guess right about there. That's good. Follow the road in here. The nice thing about Phoenix is it's everything is in a grid. So this is north-south. Alright, so gonna go ahead and start our turn inbound a little bit here. We're at 16.3 DME. We'll get a little intercept for our. We'll go right for that decel point. And that should give us a nice intercept. We'll wait for our localizer to come alive here. And if we take a look out this way, again, the roads in Phoenix, big grid. So you can always figure out which direction you're looking. Alright, waiting for this to come alive. Let's go. We're holding at 4,000. We're at just under 15 on the localizer, or on the ILS, sorry. Not sure when it comes alive. It might be 10, so we'll let's zoom in here a little bit. Make sure we don't overshoot our turn. Alright, there it is. It's alive right now, so let's go to approach. And we got our VOR lock. That looks good. Waiting for our glide slope to come in. And we're pretty close in, 12 miles. So let's go ahead and get our flaps down. 5, 10, 15. We'll also bring our speed down to 160. It looks like we've captured our localizer. Waiting for our glide slope to come in. And again, this is the published approach, is for 4,000 coming in this way. So there we go, our glide slope's alive. You can see the diamond here is filled in and is starting to move down. Keeping an eye on our distance here. And actually, while we're here, let's go ahead and switch over to our indicator right here for the VOR at Phoenix. I guess I should turn this to right. Put that at right there. There we go. 2.8, I guess, or 3.58. I like to keep my my secondary VOR like that, just for reference. This gives me a nice big green line. And I know that the VOR is right before the runway. Alright, so we're at 8 DME. Let's go ahead and slow down to 150. And it's captured our localizer. Or I'm sorry, our glide slope. So we're doing our descent here. Let's do our final check here. I know we still got the gear to go, so landing lights are on. Our auto braking, excuse me, is set. We're just waiting for 6 DME, drop our flaps and our gear. And we're close enough, so let's go gear down. We'll go to 30 on the flaps. And what was our speed there? 123, I think, which seems really slow, but we're pretty light. I'm going to go 130. We'll see how that handles. All right, I reset my throttle here. Get it ready to take over, and we will arm our speed brakes. What was our approach speed? 120, 128, huh? We'll keep it at 130. Alright, so 3 green, flaps are down, gear down, lights on, braking on. Get my view lined up here. Nice and straight. We'll see how this ILS works. So far, so good. Go ahead and zoom in one more time. I'm going to see when the auto throttle disengages automatically without touching anything. I know in the other version it seemed to do it right around 400 feet, 500 feet sometimes. It always seemed to change for me. So I'm hands off right now. The sim is flying the plane.
Approaching 25 left.
Matter of fact, let me turn up the sound here for approach. What the heck? There's 500. Waiting for the throttle to come off. Not sure if it will. I'll be ready to do it myself.
400.
See, now in the other version, the throttle would come off. I'm going to wait until 200, then I'll disengage it.
300. 200.
Still holding it. Alright. I'll take over throttle.
100.
And I just disengaged the autopilot myself.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Throttle idle.
Long landing. Long landing. 5,000 feet remaining.
Okay, thrust reverser is engaged. Alright, and manual braking. Get rid of that. And our master caution is on for the turn that down a bit. That was pretty loud, I think.
For the next few minutes, so please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened and all items stowed until the seatbelt sign is turned off. Please make sure you have all your personal belongings before you exit the aircraft, and be careful when opening the overhead compartment. You're now free to use your mobile phones and small lightweight devices. Thank you for flying with us today. We hope you had a pleasant experience, and we look forward to welcoming you again on another flight.
I was going to say the master caution was on because of the fuel. So, but you can see we're still 1, 2, 3, 4, 4,000 pounds. I didn't realize that there was one of the Air National Guard planes was sitting over here on the ramp. I thought they were only at the actual base side over here. Alright, well, we'll park it over here at the A&G ramp on our test flight here. Let's go ahead and go landing lights off, taxi lights can go on, strobes can go off, logo off, wing off. So I never did hit my 30 plus frames for some reason. I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to delete, like I said, the preferences again. It's weird, I literally only did like maybe 3 or 4 flights after doing that, and we're back on our maxed out at like 20-ish here on the ground at Phoenix, which is still pretty decent, but I want 30. So the ILS seems to work good. Got to remember that the auto throttles seem to not disengage like it did in the other version. It was almost like it was flying me all the way down to the runway. So got to manually disengage that throttle and the autopilot. All right, we'll do one little more thing here. I'm going to do just check the sounds on it also for shutdown. Alright, throttle to idle. We'll see what the sounds look like or sound like with the F mod. Alright, so throttle's idle. Put our parking brake on. I'm going to go ahead and turn the sim sound on so we can hear all the different sounds we hear when we're actually shutting down. So we do have ground power. Let's go to that. Never did the APU. Turn our beacon off. Turn our strobes off. These can go off. Let's see. Alright, so we're on ground power, so let's just go ahead and shut down and see what they sound like. Seatbelt signs off there too. Let's see. There's usually a call out for the stewardess, you know, saying, "Okay, there we go." Want that? I wonder if you got to turn something else. I got to look at the documentation for F mod to see exactly what activates that. I'm just trying to switch this to see if something activates the call out there. Maybe the taxi light. Nope. Or maybe they got rid of it altogether. Not sure. Oh, well, anyway, thanks for flying along with our little test flight here of the Zibo. Until next time, bye.